Hey guys, welcome back to Will's Garage. Today, continuation of the 2012 I was working on, doing a clutch job. Today we're going to do the timing belt on this 2012 Jetta TDI. As you can see, it looks a little scary. There's a lot of stuff in the way before I can get to any of this timing belt. I've done loads and loads of Volkswagens of prior years. This is going to be the first 2012 I'm doing. So we're going to try to figure this out together. So stay tuned. Alright guys, I just wanted to give you a little overview of what I've removed so far. Like I said, this is the first one I'm doing as well. I've done lots of other diesels before. This one just has a few extra components in the area where you need to get to the timing belt. So I went ahead and I removed the whole fuel filter system assembly. I try to do it in such a way so I know where what hoses went where. If you're unsure, make sure you mark all that stuff up. Obviously I got the coolant reservoir out of the way. We removed the engine mount and then the mount that is on the engine itself. And to this point, the only thing I did was I removed the plastic cover. It's just held on with a couple of spring clips, and that cover comes up. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this thing atop dead center. Then I'm going to remove the harmonic balancer. I'm going to take off this last dust shield, and then I'm going to mark up this belt as much as possible. I'm going to put marks on the sprockets to someplace referenced, even the injection pump, and as well as the bottom. I'll mark the belt, and then what I do is I'll transfer the marks on the belt to the new belt. And as long as I put those marks on the pulleys in the same place that the old belt was, I should have no issues timing this. Now, this engine in particular, I know for a fact just by looking at the Volkswagen service net, that there's a lot of special tools that you need to do this, at least according to Volkswagen. I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna go with the thought that this engine was running when it came here. We're just doing the belt for preventative maintenance. So as long as I put the new belt in exactly the same way as the old belt, I should have no issues. The only thing else that I'm changing is the tensioner pulleys. The guide pulleys, the tensioner pulleys. We're going to replace those as well. But we should have no issues with this thing going right back where it was. I shouldn't need all the tools to align all the sprockets and everything. I don't know if you can see, but a lot of these holes are slotted so you can adjust the timings on a lot of these, and I don't want to have to do that. So let's keep going with the disassembly here. Oh, the one thing I forgot to mention, we are going to replace the water pump as well. So, it might be a good idea for you to drain the coolant before you get to this point, but I just wanted to give you guys a rough overview of what I had to remove to get here. So what I have here, this is a paint pen I got a long time ago. I think it was specifically made for writing, filling in the letters on the sidewall of a tire. For whatever reason, I wanted to do that. It works really good for timing belts. So I'm going to make a few marks on here, so I have references when I go to put the new belt on. And then I'm going to take it off and get it all ready for the new belt. Alright guys, I just wanted to give you a close-up of some of my marks here. The mark I have both on the pulley and the belt, and I put it on the cover there so I have a reference. You can see it on the cam pulley here too, both in between the two teeth, belt on the cover. And then if you can see down there the crankshaft, what I did was I used the existing timing mark. I just, extrapolated it all the way over to the block, made a mark on there, as well as a couple marks on the belt. So what I'm going to do with all these marks on the belt is I'm going to transfer those to the new belt, and as long as I put the new belt on in the same marks that I have here, the thing should be perfectly timed. No questions, no doubts, shouldn't have any worries. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the tensioner, remove the water pump, the idler pulleys, and we're going to get all the new components on and get this thing ready for the new belt. Okay guys, I just wanted to point out the kit I'm using real quick. Came from Vw TDI. The kit includes the timing belt, serpentine belt, all the hardware you need, the tensioner, the idlers, and a new water pump with metal impeller. So you basically get everything to do this job aside from someone else to do it for you. It's a real high quality kit. Even the belt, who's this manufacturer? I forget offhand what it is, but it's an OE style timing belt. Yeah, shout out to Vw TDI. Okay guys, new water pump with a rubber O-ring seal. I have tubes and tubes of this from the dealership. This is special lubricant, as Volkswagen calls it. I don't even know if you can get it anymore. It's legacy stuff I have laying around from when I was at the dealership. It's basically like a Vaseline or petroleum jelly sort of lubricant. I like to put a little bit on the O-ring to keep the O-ring from rolling over, getting caught or anything, and it'll slide in nice so you know that it's seated and you don't have any issues with that O-ring. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to remove the old water pump and get the new one in, and then we'll start putting some of these components back. Anything with the diesel, especially in timing stuff, put blue Loctite on all the bolts. You don't want these vibrating out. These are the water pump bolts. And we'll put blue Loctite. This is the new hardware that came with the kit. Alright guys, this is the old timing belt. Like I said, I'm going to take the marks that I have on here, I'm going to transfer them onto the new belt. I don't think it really matters, but it's a pet peeve of mine to put the belt on so the writing faces you, not the engine, so it's backwards when you look at it. I don't think it really matters. Some belts might actually say they're directional, this one does not. But pretty much all I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the teeth on both belts, and I'm going to transfer the marks over. Once you have the belt marked, just double check. You don't want to be off a tooth. You don't have any issues, especially now. It's nice and easy to get it done right first time. Make sure all the teeth are lined up. Work your way around the belt. Make sure all your marks transferred exactly in the same spot to the new belt. That's it. We're going to get this belt wrapped around, get all our new pulleys and our hardware on, and we'll take it from there. There's one other thing I want to point out. We take the water pump out. Even when you drain the coolant out, you're going to drip some into the time belt area. Clean that up with brake clean, compressed air, make sure it's all dry. The last thing you want are contaminants on the belt. Same goes for oil leaks. If you have any oil leaks now, make sure you remedy those before you do your timing belt. On the pulleys again, don't forget your blue Loctite. Okay, I have the belt roughly in place. It's on the crank, on my marks, it's on the injection pump, it's on the cam. The only pulley I really put into place yet is this larger idler pulley. Usually the smaller idler rollers I'll put in last, just to make it a little easier, because these belts are very tight, they're not easy to stretch. But I also want to point out there's a notch on the cylinder head where this little tab on the adjuster has to go. And once we have this in place, the way this works is there's two tabs and a notch. You basically are going to tighten this thing. I won't do it now, but you're going to tighten it till the spring-loaded portion of this arrow is going to point into this notch, and that'll give you the perfect belt tension. But you have to make sure that this notch goes into the corresponding hole in the cylinder head. Alright guys, just want to show you the new belt. Verifying all my marks. There's the injection pump mark. There's the camshaft mark. I could see the crankshaft mark down there is still lined up with the mark on the block. And then my two marks on the crank sprocket line up with my two marks that I put on the belt. So I know this thing is perfectly timed. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my idler pulleys, and then I'm going to tension the main timing belt tension the way I showed you. I'm going to line up this little arrow with this notch here, and I know I'll have perfect timing belt tension, so you don't have to worry about any noises, premature belt failure or anything like that. So let's get ahead and get that done. Okay, tension the belt. You need a 6mm Allen. You don't need a socket. You can use a regular Allen wrench if that's what you have. You're going to rotate this thing clockwise until your marks line up into the center. You have to make sure that you didn't tighten down this 15mm nut. If you tighten this down, it's not going to move. So you need to get it where it needs to be before you tighten this down. All the other bolts, pulleys, those all can be tightened down. So like I said, we're going to line up these two marks here with our ratchet until they're in the center. And I'm going to take my 15mm wrench, and while I'm holding it, I'm going to snug down this bolt. I have lap tight on already, so I know it's not going to vibrate loose. So we're going to cinch that down until it's tight. I can remove my Allen socket, and that's it. The bell is timed. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up some of the covers. I'm going to put all the covers back where they belong. I'm going to put all the fuel system back where it needs to be, and then I'm going to pull vacuum on my coolant system, make sure I don't have any coolant leaks, and then I'm going to suck in coolant. And that's pretty much it. Okay guys, I just wanted to go over finishing up this timing belt job. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward. When you're done, I used a coolant evacuation tool. It pretty much pulls the vacuum on the reservoir, and then you, with another hose, you hook into your coolant tank, and it sucks the coolant back in. Two things it's good for: it lets you know if there's any kind of leaks in the system. So if it doesn't hold vacuum, it means it also won't hold pressure. And it puts coolant in all the voids that you suck the air out of. So if you have any high spots or anything, and, you know, some of the Audis, some of the Volkswagens have the heater cores are a little higher than the engine. This works really well to get the all the air pockets out. But as you can see, that's pretty much it. There's not much to it. Once all the mounts and everything are back into place, all the fuel lines are hooked back up, get your coolant in, and you're ready to go. You shouldn't really have any issues when you start it up. You might have to, you know, crank the key a few times just to get the air out of the fuel system here, but other than that, this thing should fire right back up. So I hope you like this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave me a comment below, and see you next time.